You've made that point, as I said, you want Australia governed as one country here. What do you want to see happen, and how has your advocacy gone? Are they listening to you in Canberra and elsewhere?
Look, Peter, I think the federal government does want the borders open, and for obvious reasons. And I don't think anyone can see any good reason why they're shut. You know, there's a few small outbreak in Adelaide, but everywhere else in the country, it's under control. And I think, we've heard again and again that this is about suppression, not elimination. And Australia desperately, and it's not only my industry, but travel, tourism, airlines, airports, the events business, a whole range of businesses are really, really struggling, and a lot of people out of work.
One of the issues, obviously, is business certainty, and even if a vaccine comes to pass, and we're told sort of March next year, it could take up to 12 months for there to be a widespread rollout of the vaccine. Now, how on earth does tourism get back on its feet? How does aviation actually survive in this period, Graham?
Yeah, look, actually, I did miss a little bit of your question, but look, it's going to be very hard, particularly the small businesses. We're a large organisation. We can raise funds. We're in 23 countries. We're getting, some government help like JobKeeper in other countries as well. But a lot of these small businesses, as soon as JobKeeper stops, it's going to be very, very difficult in the travel and tourism industry. And a lot of people are employed in this industry. I think in Queensland, in a lot of our regions, 1 in 4 people are employed in the tourist industry, for example. And, if we can't get at least the domestic borders open and stayed open and staying open permanently, quite soon there's going to be a lot of pain. There's no doubt about that.
Do you think any premiers are listening?
Yeah, they are. I mean, I did have a chat to Gladys Berejiklian a week ago, and there's no doubt the New South Wales government understands the economic impacts of these closed borders. Some of the others just don't seem to, or they don't care. And I think it's a real shame. And I do really think the federal government needs to take much stronger action on this. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I don't know exactly what they can do, but certainly from my point of view and our industry, we're certainly lobbying hard. We're looking at what action we can take, and we're certainly doing everything we can to make sure we can get the borders open, we can keep them open, and open safely, of course. And I just think we're running out of time, but we can't wait for a vaccine. That's the worst thing I thought when I heard the news about the Pfizer vaccine was, some governments will wait for the vaccine before they do anything.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think that's exactly what they will do. And the federal government, when it comes to these border closures, because it withdrew from the High Court case, I don't think that they're prepared to actually do more than, thump the table. I don't think they are prepared to go forward with legal action. And we can see from National Cabinet, even though there was a decision not even 10 days ago that we would all be open for Christmas, you've got WA saying they won't be. You've now got this, phalanx of border closures that came in just this week in relation to South Australia, Victoria reaffirming a hard border closure. I just am fearful that you're not going to get the confidence return to small business and to tourism for some time yet. And I fear too, a lot of businesses will shut down in the meantime. They'll close down.
Yeah, you're right. And it is about politics, and it's about bad science. One of the things that really frustrates me, and I have a science background, I was a veterinary surgeon originally, is that a lot of the science that is happening with the CHOs, the chief medical officers, chief health officers, it's just not good science. It's not being proven, and they're doing a lot of things just off the spur of the moment, pulling plans and a lot of actions out of the seat of their pants, rather than looking at the science, what works, what doesn't work. And that's really the most frustrating thing. And Australia should be acting as one. They should be one unified. We should be one unified nation. I'm a Queenslander, but first and foremost, I'm Australian, and I think most Australians would think that way.
Yeah, let me just amplify that point you made because, South Australia shut down the entire state based on an allegation, it's now proven to be a lie, that the virus was living on the outside of a pizza box container. That was the one example they had. It hasn't happened anywhere else in the world, but they took it on face value and they shut down the entire state. I find that extraordinary. So I think that powerfully amplifies your point. Just before we go, when do you think that we're going to have a return to international travel, certainly for Australians?
Look, it's looking increasingly likely. It'll start coming back over the next 6 or 8 months, with hopefully some bubbles. Although it really does worry me some of the philosophies of some of the health bodies who seem to rule the roost now, and a lot of these people are just not qualified to do their jobs. But it'll be over the next 6 months. And then when we have an effective vaccination program, but I think increasingly Australians will travel overseas and accept that there'll be less quarantine. Perhaps a 4 or 5 day quarantine coming back should come in fairly soon with a bit of luck, and home quarantine. So it'll be over the next 12 months. International travel will start coming back.